Hello. Today it's TipTop Tuesday. It's October 6th, 2020, and I'm about 5 minutes late. Sorry about that. Um, I was really trying to figure out what to talk about today, and it just came to me right now. Literally, I was going to, okay, well, we'll just see what happens, and I'm just going to go forth. Uh, I had a couple little reading things that I read. But what came out just at the end, after my little searching, was an idea to show you my shield. Some of you have probably seen it on the wall. You can see there's details, there's some rocks. And many of you, where is it? Where's my baby? Oh, right here, right underneath the pod, the plant pod, the seed pod. I think you can see a dragon's face. So I did this shield about 20 years ago, maybe 25. It's a long time ago. And this shield was done in the native tradition without really being native. And now I probably have some regrets about it, but it has served me well in terms of being centered about what who I am and what I am. And so I felt like today what I would talk about is dragon energy. And I know a lot of you have read stories about dragons and all of that, as I have. In fact, in my book, I talk about dragons. One of the things that I've been seeing is lots and lots more of dragons. And dragons are what I consider a four-post bed. And what do I mean by that? I mean that dragons have fire. They can swim. They're not terrific swimmers, but they can. They can go in the water. They can fly. They walk on the earth. And so they have a lot of different elements, right? Land, water, fire, air. Why is that important? It's important because dragon represents balance. Balance, when this is kind of an interesting story, I think, that I did some research a long time ago about dragons. And one of the interesting facts I found was that George killing the dragon, slaying the dragon. It turns out that Saint George was not a knight. In fact, he was an archbishop an archbishop, I believe. He was in the hierarchy of the Catholic Church, and he was a martyr. What's so interesting about him is the patron saint of farmers. Now, there's farmers and there's farmers. I think we're going back to more organic kinds of ways to be farmers. There's also this discussion sometimes when crops get taken out by pesticides or by land or all that, flooding, flash floods or mudslides or whatever, that like Mother Nature is bad, that something's bad. And so it sets up this, hi Tammy, yes, right? We do all need balance, yeah. So it sets up this idea that it's the farmers against nature. And actually, I don't believe that's true. I think if you were talk to a lot of farmers underneath it all, they would tell you they feel very connected to their farms, the lands, the crops, much more earthy than a lot of urban dwellers. Nevertheless, that began this idea that, in my mind, since the dragon was slain by St. George, and he's the patron saint of farmers, it set up this idea that nature's against us, or that God uses nature against us. And that is just baloney. I was going to say something else, but baloney will work. Because if we are often responsible for our choices and what we do. I was reading this other book, and it talked about being a spiritual warrior. And a spiritual warrior is someone who fights for their truth, fights for the spirituality, um, with with outside themselves, not within, outside themselves. And so what I'm feeling is they're setting an example of self-righteousness. An example to me is the Crusades, where a lot of lives were lost. But there's a certain self-righteousness of going down, and killing another religious group, the Muslims. Which actually, ironically, there's some of that's going on right now, right? Like there's the good guys and the bad guys in religion, but we're all good guys. So that spiritual warrior is something I would like to see people really think about. Like, do they want to be a spiritual warrior, or do they want to be a peaccior? Do they want to own their own inner truth, their own inner goodness, their own sacred heart, and have a knowing of who they are, and a knowing about what other people are? So that's the question. Does being a spiritual warrior serve you, or is it really alien to the human connection with people? And so I think that's it. Oh, I did want to do my bowl. My bowl called out today. So here we go. And I'm asking you all to go out and be your best selves and be the peacciors that you were born to be. Take care. And if you have any comments, please comment, or questions, or things you'd like to add, because there's a lot of smart cookies out there. Please do. Take care.